Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover. As always, you can follow me on X Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on the show, a missed opportunity for the Braves to sign this starting pitcher, the case for this NFL quarterback, how this MLB team once again lost a trade, and the Super Bowl is now set. And that's where we start the show today. And ask me how excited I am about this matchup between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Locke, how excited are you? Yay. Yay. That's it. That's the excitement level I have for this Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl again. I mean, yay. That's it. That's all I've got. That's the excitement level. That's the enthusiasm I have. And it sucks. It really does suck. We've seen it. I hate both these teams now. We're going to have the Taylor Swift effect of every, minute? 2 minutes probably? You know what? I'm going to give it every 5 minutes they show Taylor, regardless of what Travis Kelce is doing, since it's a worldwide event of everybody's eyes are going to be on the game. Yay. That's the excitement level I have. But Eagles took care of the Washington. But the game I really want to get into a little bit is the Bills-Chiefs game. And, I mean, you've got to feel the heartbreak and listen to the heartbreak with Josh Allen. And this was one of his post-game quotes. To be the champs, you have to beat the champs. And you could just hear it in his voice, the disappointment, the delivery. I mean, he was still in his uni at the in the presser. So you could just tell the upsetness, the botheredness by it. And I completely understand, because Buffalo could not have played a more perfect game and still lose. So listen to this. Think about this. They had more first downs, more yards, more rushing yards. They didn't turn the ball over. Kansas City had one turnover, and they had more time of possession, which that's not the end-all be-all time of possession, but you can make something of it. But I'm not a big time of possession guy based on, how teams score, explosiveness, big play, whatever. But all that, Bills had more of than the Chiefs. And then less turnovers. But still, what happened? They lost. It's tough, and I get it. It's a complete gut punch for Josh Allen and these Bills teams, especially after last year, when you think, okay, this Chiefs team doesn't have it. We're a better football team than them last year. I like our chances. We're feeling good. And you lose to the Chiefs, and obviously they go and win the Super Bowl. You know what happened, of course. But that right there was, had to be tough, of course. Then again, this year you're like, okay, I'm feeling good. We beat them in the regular season. Granted, it was in our building up in Buffalo. And now we got to go to Arrowhead. And you lose. It's almost to the point where it's the same story every single year for Buffalo until they get over the hump. Can they get over the hump? I mean, they're the Cubs right now. Them and the Lions, right? The most lovable losers of where they're at this time for this franchise. And you can't even say this is Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady at this point. You can't, because Allen hadn't even beat Patrick Mahomes yet. So there's no way you can even call it or consider it a Brady Manning duel, because Manning had beat Peyton. Because Manning beat Brady sometimes in the postseason. Obviously, those Chiefs. Those Colts New England battles. Josh Allen has yet to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So you want to make the comparison, kind of, but until he gets the dub, when it matters most in the postseason, how big of a rivalry is it? Yeah, it is, but it's like, get over the hump, right? And it's tough. It really is. Now, you have to ask this question: Why wasn't Cook involved late in the game when he'd been playing well all game? Gap runs, catches out of the backfield, making plays. One of your playmakers. Yeah, it's I was not quite sure why he wasn't involved in the or on the field much during that last drive. You had plenty of time. Josh Allen had around 4 minutes, I believe, 4.5, 4 minutes at the end of the game. He had 2 timeouts. So it's not like it was a minute 20, no timeouts at your 20-yard line. No, 4 minutes. You can have a methodical 4-minute drive, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning. A touchdown wins it. Touchdown wins it. Really, all you need is a field goal to take it to overtime. So everything's right there. It's right there. It's not like you have minimal time, minimal things to work with. Everything is there. The ball is in your court. I think it was an easy call, obviously, to go for that 4th down on about the 40, 45-yard line. Because we get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes on the punt. Obviously, you're not getting the ball back, and we saw you couldn't stop him, so you ultimately didn't get the ball back, obviously. But easy call. Heck of a throw, too. About to get sacked, throws it up to Dalton Kincaid, and Kincaid could not come down with it. It hits him in the hands. Yes, it's not a perfect throw, but under duress, Josh Allen made about as good of a throw as you can ask, and Dalton Kincaid just couldn't come down with it. And that ends their season ultimately against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And it's a tough pill to swallow, and I get it. That's a difficult situation that they're in. And now the Super Bowl set between Philly and the Chiefs in New Orleans. Yay. That's what I've got for the Super Bowl. Yay. But you feel it for the Chiefs. For the Bills. And I think I might get into a little bit of this next week. Like, where do the Bills and Josh Allen go from here? What does his legacy look like? We'll get to that. We'll get to that probably next week, as it's tough. It's a very tough pill to swallow. Another tough pill, I guess, kind of swallow is another free agent that would have been a good fit for Atlanta signs for the Blue Jays. And that's Matt Scherzer at age 40. I know. I liked him as an option for the Braves. He is now off the board for them. But I guess one of the concerns I would have had with the Braves signing him would have been like any pitcher at age 40. He's 40. Coming off an injured season, but he did throw in September. So that makes you feel a little, and he was healthy to end the season. So you're like, okay, you would have felt better on that end. And obviously the Braves were very interested in Justin Verlander. And Verlander kind of falls in the same realm in that situation where, yes, Verlander was more healthy and he had more starts and more innings than Scherzer, but that 41, 42-year-old, 43-year-old, still good stuff, still dominant, 2 future Hall of Famers, kind of in that elk. So Scherzer through in 2024, through 41 and a third innings, the 3.95 ERA. But in 2023, through 152 and 2/3 innings, the 3.77 ERA, and 10.3 Ks per 9. I mean, you love that. You take that 150 innings, and that's really what I'm talking about in that realm of 150 innings would have been what you're looking for from a pitcher like that, especially if you can get some dominant performances from Max Scherzer. That's where you want. So like I was saying, you need some innings, and if you get 150, you're set, obviously. But let's say he would have, even whoever they sign, even if it is a veteran, gives you 120 quality innings. I think you take that. If he gives you Ronaldo Lopez innings, of course you're going to love that. I don't think Ronaldo Lopez is giving you a 1.99 ERA or a 2 ERA. But I think if you get a 130 inning pitcher, it would just mean a few more innings from the Grant Holmes, potentially an Ian Anderson, Bryce Elder, Smith Solver, maybe a Hurston Waldrop, Drew Hackenberg, maybe a pitcher they really like, up and comer, storming through the minors. So probably start the year in AAA, I would assume, because he ended the year up there now last year. But I think it would be a little bit tricky in this realm if it's 130 innings and say it was a Max Scherzer or someone in that vein has started the season healthy, they're ready to go, and then they would potentially get on the IL. That'd be 2 guys in, say, Anderson and Holmes that could be in your bullpen. That's as your 5th man, your long reliever until Strider gets back. So I'm just going to use an example of Anderson and Holmes. And one of the reasons I'm using those 2 guys, they're both out of options. And we've seen in this Atlanta Braves team, once you're out of options, you have a better chance of sticking with this ball club. And that's most clubs, but if you're a Brave, your options are going to get used up. You can almost guarantee it, especially if you're a pitcher, bullpen guy, without a doubt. I mean, we even saw that last year with Dylan Lee, who went down for a little bit of time because he had options, and even though he didn't deserve to go down, he went down because he had some options, and they were trying to figure out the bullpen and health and extend guys and all that. But let's just say one of those guys is going to be your 5th starter until Strider comes back. And then you've got 2 guys in the bullpen potentially until those 2 guys may be going to the bullpen. And that's going to be the fine balance of if he gets hurt in the middle of the season, say it was a Max Scherzer get hurt in the middle of the season, or maybe it's another injury-riddled pitcher, you might have one of those guys, Holmes, Anderson, is your long guy, right? Saying the other is your rotation. The other one is in the rotation. Who, I don't know. But one of your long guys, so you're going to have to continue to stretch them out for a time being. But it would have been okay. You want the 150 innings, obviously. It would be a little bit more. You have to do a little bit more maneuvering with the 130 innings if he gets hurt mid-season. And you like both those guys. So it's a wait and see thing. And they've said they still have around 8 to 10. We've been told million after they signed Jerison Profar. And I even said this, would Scherzer even sign for 8 to 10 after Verlander got 15 million? Obviously he didn't. He got 15 and a half from the Blue Jays. So, which I get that the going rate. He saw what Verlander got. They're the same stage in the career. I want Justin Verlander, and that's what he got. And there's no way in the world Braves are going 15 million with how their current roster is constructed. Because they let Charlie Morton walk for 15 million. They didn't sign Verlander for 15 million. So both those guys are gone, obviously. And 15 million wasn't in the cards for the Braves to sign a 4-5 starter. Now, speaking of signing, this is going to be an interesting case as this quarterback was 5th in the NFL in passing yards with 4,319, which is more passing yards than Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Herbert. Just to name a few. 5th in passing yards and passing touchdowns with 35, which is more than, once again, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Daniels, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert. He only had 12 picks, 66.2% completion rate, and averaged 254.1 yards passing per game. Who is this guy? I think you probably know who I'm talking about. And how much did he get paid? Is he getting paid going forward? Well, that's Sam Darnold. He made $10 million this year on a 1-year free agency deal. I know. Yeah, you're like, holy, I knew he had a good year. I didn't realize his numbers were that good. I'm not a Vikings fan. Yeah, I watched some Vikings games when they were on, but he had a good year, but yeah, I didn't know they were those numbers, you know? So who does he compare to? What is his money going to look like when it comes to next year? Where does that fit for him? I think the absolute perfect comp for him money-wise is Geno Smith. Geno Smith. And here's why. Yes, the age is a little bit different. Darnold's 27. Geno's 34 on their years they put up. All numbers very similar. As with yardage, yards per game, rush yards, they're within 1 passing yard of each other. So obviously their per game average is the same. Rushing yards are about a wash. Neither of these two quarterbacks are really scramblers. So Sam Darnold had more touchdowns and less interceptions this year. Geno Smith had a better completion percentage. Geno signed for $375. If I'm Sam Darnold, let me phrase that. If I'm the team negotiating with Sam Darnold, that's the barometer right there, right? 3 for $75. You can obviously structure it however you want on a shorter term deal. Yeah, I get it. Sam Darnold, 27. Geno, 33 when he signed the deal. But I think you also got to look at their similar careers as well. Both being first round picks, struggling, and then a few years bouncing around being backups for different teams. and then getting a chance to start. They both made the most of their opportunity as Geno got this 3-year deals from Seattle. And then that brings you to the Vikings. What are they doing? To me, I don't think you can let this guy walk and not re-sign him. Yes, I know they got J.J. McCarthy. They drafted him last year. But he's recovering from injury, and it's a rookie. He didn't get much playing time. Obviously, any playing time, any practice work. I mean, yeah, he's recovering from injury, What if McCarthy doesn't pan out? You know what you got in Sam Darnold and what you can do with him. You've seen him operate in the offense. Yes, McCarthy's 21. Darnold is 27. Yeah, there's an age difference, obviously. A money difference as well. But it gives you an option to keep McCarthy too. If you re-sign Darnold. Or maybe you trade him and pick up a first round pick and other picks. As they've said, this quarterback draft week is a weak draft. There was rumor that McCarthy would have been the top quarterback in this year's draft. Now he's gotten a year of NFL seasoning underneath his belt. No, of course he didn't play, but film room around the coaches, the game plan, understanding the NFL. There's all that. I don't see how you can let Sam Darnold get out of your building. And you want to make the complaint, there's the argument, how can you really pay Sam Darnold when his most two important games he pissed away and he lost, right? And yeah, sure. They were already in the playoffs. They were fighting for a first round bye in the division. And then they lost in the playoffs, obviously. But this is his first opportunity, his first playoff opportunity in his career to be in this position. And he hadn't done a whole lot of winning in the past either, as he's only had 10 game-winning drives in his career. In his career, 5 of them being this year. So what he did for Minnesota, what he brought, you can't let him walk out the door for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care if you got J.J. McCarthy. You don't let him get out of the building after the year he just put up for you and the record and everything he did. No way in the world would I let him leave. And we'll see. That's gonna be something to watch and monitor and see where he lands, because he could go to Minnesota, obviously back to Minnesota. Pittsburgh, they don't know what they're doing at quarterback. And then other teams that need a quarterback looking like they might draft one. With the Giants, Giants quarterback, Browns quarterback, but with all that money, they're not going to be tied into Deshaun. They're not going to probably pay for Sam Darnold. So there's teams that need some quarterbacks, but it fits so well to be back in Minnesota. They know him. He knows them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And something that was kind of also interesting, depending on what side you were on with this, was an 11-year-old says no to the Pirates. 11, they lose a trade to an 11-year-old. So an 11-year-old found a 1-of-1 Paul Skeens rookie debut patch autographed card. So what that is they don't make any more of these cards. It's a 1-of-1. Original, the only one made of Paul Steen's rookie debut patched autograph card. This 11-year-old kid got it. So the Padres wanted that card. Rightfully so. I get it. Here was their offer: 2 home plate tickets for 30 behind home plate for 30 years, a meet and greet with Paul Skeens, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys, softball game for 30 years at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alums, private tour of Pirate City and Lemco Park, Pirates game with Livy Dunn in her suite, courtesy of Livy. Do you know who Livy Dunn is? That's the LSU gymnastics girl and his girlfriend. The kid, after consideration, has declined the offer from the Pirates and is sending the card to auction. If I'm the kid, I probably would have declined it too. I'm sure it was the kid and the family's decision, right? Had to have been. Not just the 11-year-old kid's decision. But I don't blame him, and here's why. The kid's probably not a Pirates fan. They don't live in the area as they live in LA, they've said. You're probably going to receive more money from the auction than you would potentially selling those home plate tickets on a game-by-game basis. Because you got to remember, it's the Pirates. The Pirates aren't a great fan base, but they've struggled for the last, 2 decades, basically, the last 20 years. Outside of a few playoff appearances with Clint Hurdle and I think McCutcheon was there, and you had that crew there. They've been bad, so I don't blame them. Plus, how much would it cost to fly into Pittsburgh and go to games when they live in LA? Now, would the Pirates pay for the flights and the hotels? Plus, this 11-year-old, I'm going to go on and limb and say he's a Dodgers fan. I don't know. But what franchise has historically won more overall, the Dodgers or the Pirates? And oh yeah, look what the Dodgers have done his 11-year-old's entire life. Won 2 championships and win divisions and in the playoffs. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? For this kid. To me, it seemed like a weak offer, especially for a kid who lives in LA and family who lives in LA. Now, here's maybe a better offer. How about maybe the skiing stuff, obviously, all the signature skiing stuffs. What about some Pirates in the Hall of Fame signed stuff, jerseys, balls, bats, whatever, those that are still living? I mean, even if they're not Pirates, maybe guys that played for the Pirates that were in the Hall of Fame and went in the Hall of Fame with another team, maybe. Maybe try that. How about ticket offers and flights and lodging? Maybe is a better offer. Also, too, give the kid Pirate friends and family tickets when they visit LA every year for his life. That's a guaranteed 3 games a year you get to go to a baseball game in Dodger Stadium. Or even make it a lifetime. Make it a lifetime thing. Why not? You're the Pirates. You can do that. Give him friends and family tickets or player tickets, a set of player tickets that they're not going to use. You better do it to friends and family. That'd be easier. And then maybe have a conversation with the kid to see what he wanted. To see if you could remotely make a deal with him as opposed to saying, hey, here's our offer, and that's it. I mean, maybe they did it. They had a conversation with him, but it's hey, here's the deal, take it or leave it. Dude, he's 11. You got to think logically. He lives in LA. He's a Dodger fan. Maybe he's an Angel fan. We're just gonna go with he's a Dodgers fan. Given an opportunity to see his team easily, at least 3 times a year. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a guy from Ohio. As always, you can follow me on X at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on X. I'm Mark Coover. This is Lock It Down Sports. Have a good day, everybody. Talk to you next week.